So this is actually Mandy's great-grandmother's house that was passed down to her. It's been here since the late 60s, early 70s. So what happened, it was New Year's. I worked all day New Year's. Got home about 6 or 7. Man, we crashed pretty early because it was a long day and kids didn't have school the next day, so they're always up and fighting, you know what I mean? So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know what time it was at that moment, but I used the restroom. I stepped out and there was a bang on the door, and then, you know, like a knock, and then I'm like, oh, the kids must be fighting. So I opened the door, and our youngest daughter, Brianne, she said, the couch is on fire. So when I stepped into the living room, I seen there was a round ring on the back of the couch. So my initial response was to take the couch and move it away and kind of isolate it because I was going to push it out. But when I did that, it kind of like, I don't know, spontaneously combusted, but it just grew like immediately. So I ran to the kitchen and got a bowl and was throwing the water on the couch. And I was telling Mandy to get up and get the kids out because it was really smoky at that point in the house. So she got up and got the kids out, and I'm going back and forth, and I told her to give me the water hose. And so she ran and grabbed the water hose. Meanwhile, I'm going back and forth trying to dump water on the couch. And I grabbed the water hose, and I go to try to spray it. There was a kink, and so nothing would come out. So I told her to go look for the kink, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. She couldn't see anything, and everything's kind of going crazy. And so then I kept trying to put the fire out, and then I realized that this fire is getting really big, so I wanted to make sure there are all the kids out. And then the youngest, she's like, no, Savannah's still in the back room. And I turned the back porch into a room to accommodate for the 4 kids, and she had heard us talking, and she opened the door because she heard a bang, and that was me lifting the couch up and moving it over to the side. And she opened the door and she got scared. She seen smoke and she slammed it, and she kind of like froze up. So I ran back there. And she's 15, and Savannah was 15. So I went and I grabbed the door and I yanked it open. I'm like, hey, come on, we gotta go. And so and everything I'm telling you is happening just as quick as I'm saying it. Like 3 or 4 minutes, this all happened. I got Savannah and I moved, and as soon as we got around to the kitchen where the front door was, there was an 8-foot fire in our house. So I said, Savannah, we're gonna have to run through run right around it, right by it. I said, you might get burned, it might hurt. I said, but that's the only way out. We got to go. So we took off and we ran through it. And as soon as we got off what would be the front porch, it's gone now, and made it to the driveway, the porch had already started going up. 5 or 10 minutes later, the whole house was engulfed, and we lost our 4 dogs, 2 boxers, a pit, and a chihuahua. But we got everybody else out, but like just with like undershirt and a pair of, you know, shorts, no shoes, our phones, our keys, everything was in there. But the firefighters, they came and they put it out really quick. Pretty admirable guys right there, because they knew, like, you never understand what it means when people say they run into a burning building, but like those guys, like from where we're standing right now, you couldn't get that close to that fire at that moment. And they knew, you know, I told them, hey, there's oxygen in the saline tanks right there, and they're like, okay, put their hat on, went right through it. So those guys are lights out. Just a blessing. And then, you know, what's happening right now with the community all coming together with Commissioner Metz, you know, his son, he's the one, you know, orchestrating this, and it's just, yeah, it's overwhelming and completely humbling to think that, you know, people just go out of their way to help, you know, our family. It's pretty huge, right? And so, you know, I just think that, you know, God had a plan for us, you know, from the very beginning. And, you know, we didn't have insurance, of course, so, you know, trying to keep insurance on the 3 cars that we had, you know, kid in college and, you know, 4 kids living with us, it was pretty tough. So, but I know that God makes a way every time. He always does, and He's doing it right now as we speak. It's kind of like why you're here, because He's doing it. So really just count our blessings that we all got out, and just continue to press forward and keep moving, you know. I think that's the big part of it.
And how did Men Unleashed get involved?
So Men Unleashed, Bobby, he's the one that really, you know, called me and reached out to me. I've been a drug and alcohol counselor at Heaven's Army for the last 4 years, and I met him through all the connections with the different ministries, with the New Caney Cowboy Church, with the Disciple House here in Conroe. It's a drug and rehab facility, basically. And so I met him through all the connections, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, Sammy, man, I'm so sorry. Like, what can we do?" And I said, "Well, this is kind of like what we need." And so he kind of put all his contacts together, man, and just made it happen. And yeah, he reached out. Well, he gave me Jamie's number, and then I called Jamie. And he's like, "Man, so sorry to hear you." And then it happened to be that he lives, you know, right down the road, not too far. So that was a blessing in itself, right there. So. And that's how it happened, man.
I understand you have a daughter in college, and she's kind of well known. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, her name's Campbell. She's a pole vaulter, and she goes to Stephen F. Austin, and she's the United States Junior record holder now, as of January 12th at Texas A&M. She broke that record, and she's actually jumping at U of H today. So
awesome.
Yeah.
They didn't have any insurance. And so Bobby contacted me and reached out, and so we got a group of guys together to demolish the house, and we're getting some more people together to do concrete, donate dirt, house pad to get them a house built. They lost everything in their house, and Bobby, like I said, Bobby reached out to me, you know, and I got some guys together. Bobby got some guys together. David Jarvis Truck donated the move for the excavator. I donated the excavator and operator to demolish the house. The dumpster guys, Keith Kitchens, the dumpster guys donated the dumpsters to remove the house. And Waste Management, Rich Singer up there at Waste Management, made a call to him and he donated the dumping. So basically we're getting their house removed down to dirt to where they can start over for nothing, for free. And like I said,
we have Craig Moreau from Tejas Hydroseed, and he's going to come after the fact, and he's going to do the grading and build a pad so they can rebuild it. And Charlie Hargroves out in Splendora is going to donate all the grade and dirt so they can do so.
Yeah, I believe, this is Craig, I believe 84 Lumber, they said, was going to donate half of the lumber to the house, if I'm not mistaken. And Liberty Concrete was going to donate the concrete, correct? So it's just everybody coming together. Bobby put this together, and we got a group of men together, which is what he does to try to help his family out, you know. This is how we do it over here in East County, you know. Well, the whole county, Montgomery County. Yes.
Well, he's West County, he lives in Montgomery, and some other people involved all lived in Montgomery, but yeah, we're East County residents. We was born in Montgomery County and grew up here.
Just helping out Men Unleashed with the skid steer that we use. Anything I can help.
Spread the dirt and stuff.
Spread the dirt. We're going to build a pad with a skid steer after we get it cleaned up. Whatever we can do.
Where are you located?
105 out by the lake, April Plaza Marina, right out there.
And what is Men Unleashed?
Well, Men Unleashed is an organization that was founded in Athens, Texas 3 or 4 years ago, and they requested that, or they asked if we were interested in starting a chapter here in Montgomery County. And what we do, we're just the hands and feet of Christ that beats the street of Montgomery County and surrounding areas, based out of East Montgomery County, and we just go and help people in time of need. If someone has a wheelchair ramp that needs to be built, or has their lawn that needs to be cut, the way I usually say it is, if you're going to a big crawfish boil or some kind of benefit somewhere, and you're going down the road and there's an elderly lady being put in the back of a wheelchair or something, or being put in the back of an ambulance, and the reason being is because their steps broke, and so you keep going, and you're like, man, I wish somebody could help them, and then you keep going, and there's a gentleman in a wheelchair on his porch, and his grass is 4 feet high, and I wish somebody could help them, and you go further, and there's someone being put in the back of a police car, and their family's still there at home with needs, grocery needs or something like that, we're going to be praying for them, and then you get to the event. But Men Unleashed is the organization that stops at each one of these places and provides those needs on the way to the bigger outreach or the bigger church event or something like that.
And what are you doing here today?
Well, the gentleman saying Campbell, I seen on Facebook and social media that his house burned. Well, I've known him for quite a few years, so I called and reached out to him and asked him what he needed, and he said, well, I just don't know where to start. You know, my house burnt, and first we're going to need to excavate and build a pad and prepare to rebuild our home. So I called Jamie Metz and then called Craig Moreau and really prayed about it and reached out to some different people, and so now today we're over here excavating his house. We had the dumpster guys have donated their equipment, and Jamie Metz has donated the equipment. Craig Moreau with Tejas Hydro Seeding's donated his equipment, and Waste Management donated time at the landfill, and all these people of the county has come together as one body in the body, you know, in the community to unify and not divide. We're here to unify the body of our area, you know, underneath the provision of Jesus and God, is to provide a unified body of Christ. So we just want to help somebody who has a need, and it don't always take the money, right? It's if you have time, talent, or treasure, whatever you have, you can use it to help somebody who's right next to you or